modern radar systems of the day, what are called phased array radar. The old radar systems that operated like clock, where they'd sweep around and get a blip every second or two, they're not the radars that they work with now on sophisticated military ships. They now work with a beam, a phased array radar beam that can not only tell you the solidity of that object, they can actually also work out things like its density, its mass, and even aspects of its shape. And so I've spoken to people who were on the USS Princeton and the USS Nimitz who saw the data coming in from the weapons systems officer that was sitting behind Dave Fravor on his FA-18. I'm also aware of telemetry data from the E-2 Hawkeye aircraft that was also independently monitoring this object as it was engaging with the fighter aircraft. And what was hilarious is because of the unified linked battlefield systems that they now have in America, where everybody's merging data, and so that you get a full data plot. The USS Princeton was the key vessel involved in this, where they have a combat weapons system that merges all the data plots from literally dozens of different radar sets all over the battle fleet that was practicing that day. They got a universal picture, a consistent picture of solid objects moving. I think one estimate of the speed that it moved was it went from 80,000 feet or possibly above 80,000 feet in orbit, because the ceiling of their radar system was 80,000 feet. It went from 80,000 feet to just above the surface of the ocean in 0.78 of a second. Now that speed is hundreds of thousands of kilometers an hour. And for the move in 0.78 of a second to occur like that, the G-forces were in excess of 12,000 G-forces. Any terrestrial technology, any terrestrial craft would have fallen apart after about 16 G. That's the most a modern airframe can handle. Any human being basically faints after 9 or 10 G, even if they're wearing a G suit. The idea of not only hundreds but thousands of G-forces being applied on a craft or a human being is impossible. The only logical conclusion from the scientists that I've spoken to is that whatever this technology is, it's got the capacity to manipulate space-time. That the apocryphal
gravity and time are linked, right? So
yeah,
from observable physics, we know that gravity and time are linked. So
yeah, the best explanation that I've been able to get from people who are talking to a non-technologist, a non-scientist like me, is that theoretically it's possible. The Alcubia Drive was postulated about 20 years ago. It's possible to warp space-time, and that you can create a bubble of space-time in front of a craft that allows it to displace space instantaneously.
We just don't have the energy sources to be able to do that.
And that's the issue, is that it's been speculated that the energy that would be required to create such displacement would require more than the power of our sun. As one person said to me, something's doing this.